Alright, what's up everybody? I figured I'd give you guys a quick update. I haven't been doing a bunch of work on this thing the last few days. I've been doing a little bit. So real quick, you see we got the MIG welder out. We got our motor, our cross member all welded up. Again with the MIG welder. And I had to cut the frame away. You see there's a lip right here. And we had to cut that away over here for the steering box to bolt in. I'm going to use that bolt right there, or that hole right there, and I got a bracket made up that's going to weld on the bottom to hold the other two bolt holes for the steering box. And that's going to come out of that, well, my new steering column I'm going to put in probably hopefully tomorrow or so. That's going to come down and go right to it hopefully. I did have to buy some more parts for that to work. And we didn't weld the ends of this yet because we still have some angle parts that we have to worry about with the transmission. So once I get the motor back in and the transmission will be all going in at one time, we'll once we get that figured out with the angle of the transmission and the mount of, the cross member for that, then we'll weld that in place. But for now, we just got some frame, a little bit of frame modification, a little bit of welding. And let me show you guys the, I got the steering box yesterday. This is going to mount, well, you're looking at the front of it, so this is the rear where the steering column will hook with like a U-joint. It's made for this splined shaft here, and then the other side's got the shaft that goes into the steering column. I'll show you guys that one on another video. But then you got the top bolt, which is going to go in that hole in the frame, and you got two bottom bolts that are going to go on that bracket. There's a hole. Well, there's going to be a hole here and a hole there. I can see where I got to cut it, and I'm going to kind of shape it around. So I'm going to weld that to the bottom of the frame. So I just want to get it as low as I can because I don't want this pitman arm interfering with the oil pan on the motor, and that's why it's going to be low. So I just want to give you guys kind of a quick little update. I know it's been a few days. Actually, I think it's been about 4 or 5 days. And the other thing I have to do, which I was talking about before, I was actually going to do it today, and I started working with that thing with the steering box, but I have to get this old steering column out of here. Which all it's holding it in right now is that clamp right there. Other than that, it's like just sitting in there. But I'm also going to remove that little switch right there. So I have to get in there, and I guess it's bolted in under the dash. I got to get in there and get all the bolts. But in the meantime, I got to clean all this crap out of here to get to it. So that'll be probably tomorrow's job. I've been cleaning this out a little bit, get some room in there where I can get in there and get that stuff unbolted. Get the new one in there. I got the mounts for that, and I actually found a plate. Actually, it's been underneath my wood stove since I moved here. I saw it under there one day. I was like, oh wow, that'll probably work perfect for, the other day I saw it again. So there's this plate right here. This thing's been sitting underneath my wood stove over here forever. And I just saw it, and I'm like, huh. That looks like a pretty good size hole. I wonder if it'll work with the base for the steering column. It's like a two-piece clamp. And it's got like a swivel base that mounts in the middle. And it fits perfect. The swivel part sits right inside of this hole. And then the two clamp pieces that go on there, I just have to, obviously drill and tap 4 holes to hold those in there. But this plate's going to work perfect, I think. It's already got holes in it. So I got to see where it's going to mount on the actual inside the car before I know how well it's going to work. But right now it fits the bottom floor bracket for the steering column. Fits it perfect. So the other one I got is just like a 2-inch drop. It's got like a swivel thing in the middle so to account for the angle of the column. So, but yeah, that's what we got for right now. I've been doing this little stuff here and there, and I did a lot of this stuff. Some of the stuff I did today, but I did a little bit yesterday. It's kind of hard to come out here and do any kind of real work on this thing after getting off work, because I'm too tired a lot of times to really mess around with it a whole lot. But we've been kind of chipping away at this thing. I'm trying to get this thing ready to get this motor back in this weekend. Hopefully get the steering part done from the column to the box. Get the motor and trans back in. I got another trans, by the way. I'm going to show you that in a sec. Get that back in, and I can start working on the rear, the transmission mount for the rear. And I'm trying to work my way from front to back on this whole drivetrain air thing. So let me show you what we got for a trans. I picked this up from a buddy of mine this Sunday, and this came out of I'm not sure what year it came out of. It was a Buick Roadmaster. So this is a 700 R4 transmission, and the only electrical part on it, there's a little plug right there, and there's it's hard to explain. There's a torque converter lockup that happens when you get into the fourth. This is a 4-speed, so it's got an overdrive. And I figured out a way online to wire it up where you just have to run one. There's 3 wires. You got to one to switch power, and the other 2 jumper together. So supposedly that's like the best way to do it without having to buy a kit. They do sell kits for it, but so I got the pigtail to plug into it. When we go to put it, I'll do that after when I do the wiring, obviously. But the transmission itself, it works. So, you know, my buddy told me it works fine. He had it in a car that he had for a few years, and he pulled it out. Only the reason he's had the transmission because he pulled the motor out to put it into an S10, and he wasn't using this trans. So he saved it, and he offered it to me for a really good price. So I'm probably going to take a wire wheel on my grinder and clean up the aluminum a little bit. Maybe I'll throw some paint on it. But overall, it looks pretty good. And I finally just today got my bolts for my flex plate, so I can bolt that on. I bought a set, and it was actually for a flywheel instead of a flex plate, so they are way too long. So these ones are the right size. These ones are shorter. These should work good. I still have to change the bolts on the engine mounts. The ones I have on there, well, I think I got 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. I had a few bolts that were too long, and I finally did get the regular, the right size bolts, so I got to swap those. And I got to put the bolts in for that flywheel / flex plate, whatever you want to call it. And then we'll be bolting that thing up there once we get all that wire off there. I didn't want that torque converter sliding out when I was driving it home with it. And I am going to go ahead and cut those tranny lines down some because I'm going to run different lines. So I'm going to run them splices off of these lines into my radiator when I get it. So, but I'm going to cut some of that off. So we'll wheel that jack around, put it on here, and we'll bolt her up as soon as we're ready. And I'm going to clean it up a little bit, like I said. So other than that, it should be pretty good. The power glide, I'm going to stick it over somewhere over there, and maybe later rebuild it. Maybe, who knows? We'll see what happens. But for right now, I'm just going to hang on to it. And the motor, like I said, it's pretty much good to go as far as I know. It looks like it's brand new inside. It looks like it was just rebuilt. The carburetor intake, I'm not sure. I might change that depending on what happens here a little bit later on this build. But for right now, I think it'll be alright, hopefully. I think it was test ran after it was rebuilt because there's some black carbon in that inside the exhaust ports and that, so it may have been ran. I don't know. I'm gonna try it. I think once I get it all mounted in there, and I'm gonna have to get a starter too, I'm probably gonna try to do a fire on it to see if it'll start up. But we got to get there first. So we're getting close. Hopefully we'll have it pretty soon here. I'm off Friday again, so I'm hoping to come out here Friday, get some of this bigger stuff knocked out if I don't have it knocked out before then. I like to get this motor back in by the weekend, hopefully. And hopefully we can move on past the whole motor steering box stuff and get to some of the other fun stuff. So it feels like it's taking forever, but it's not really. It's just, just me doing what I can do on the weekdays after work. So anyways, guys, that's about all we got for this video. I just want to do a quick update. I want to show you guys what I did. And we're going to make another one here in the next day or two. I'll show you some more progress. And if you have not subscribed yet, let's give you a side view here real quick, in case you're just now tuning in. But if you haven't subscribed yet, you might want to subscribe because this thing's going to be hopefully on the road by springtime. So, but anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Give me a thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't done that yet, like I said. And we'll see you on the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.